What do you think about that SpaceX rocket launch, man?
I didn't watch it.
You didn't watch it? Did you hear about
No,
it?
I watched the rerun. That's crazy, dude.
It is.
Have you seen the picture where they have the different they have pictures of inside the actual shuttle comparing the controls and everything
To the
Have you
old
seen
style?
that one? To the 1967 one, the what was it, the
Apollo 11?
Apollo
is it?
4?
Apollo 4?
Apollo 4?
I don't know exactly which one, but I did see the photo. I saw it.
Nice.
What I
That's
immediately
crazy,
it is
dude.
because what I immediately thought is like, how the fuck did someone get on that and said, you know what, I'm going to the moon? I wouldn't trust that shit in a car.
Now?
Yeah, that's like
Crazy, dude.
that's like future shit.
I know.
I love
When
that.
I saw the screens, I was like, dude, I can control that.
Yeah, like that's easy. Touchscreen, right?
I can write that.
Dude, that's what I think is one of the biggest things about, the whole future tech is that fact that everything's simplified so everyone's going to be able to use it. Like, I think before, I'm not so sure about the whole car thing, but I'm pretty sure it was a little bit more complicated than what it is now. I mean,
Yeah.
we have driving cars that drive themselves right now, so they're awesome, and it's way more simpler. So back to that image, it's crazy because I wouldn't trust that in a car. That looks
Touch controls
awful.
it.
I was like, in my head, because as I was watching the live feed of the actual rocket like going up,
Yeah.
I was excited, but I was also scared. I was like, dude, what if this shit blows up? This is scary. Like, you see it live, and then on
You
top
saw
of
the
it,
test they had on,
Yeah.
what was it, Wednesday?
on Wednesday, Boca Chica Beach, right?
When it actually blew up.
The one that blew up. I was like,
I saw those memes.
I didn't see the
Imagine being
memes.
the astronaut. Imagine being the astronaut has to go to space.
And then you're like,
and you see
wait.
this. You see the test go bad.
That's the thing, though. Like, they didn't even mention it in the launch or anything, or even like said anything about it. Here's what I thought when I saw that. I said, "Fuck!" Like, what are the astronauts thinking? Like you said, the memes. Like, I bet that's what everyone goes through their mind immediately. You're like, this is scary. I'm not gonna get on that fucking rocket. But I also thought this is a test run.
But then, I was just imagining, what if they thought, they looked back like, oh, these rides, I'd rather go to space.
Yeah, dude, I know, right? The whole fucking
I'm
riot
sorry, I'm
thing.
not trying to be insensitive. It's just,
No. I mean, but I understand. I mean, sometimes, they have kids too, right? But it's scary. It is still scary, but I mean, it's for a good reason. The whole thing about it being something new for mankind, that it's a commercial flight. It wasn't even like, NASA's ship. It was an actual for-profit
Yeah.
company. That's fucking crazy. Did you see?
but I didn't know. Did you hear about, I think before this, the U.S. was paying Russia?
Yeah, to transport things.
What was it, like 80 million a
lot
seat
of money, dude.
per person just to go to space?
It's fucking expensive.
That's crazy.
Do you know on SpaceX's website right now, you can actually, if you have money, of course, right? You can actually reserve
Book a
flight
yeah,
September this
That's what I
year.
heard. Well, I heard next year they're gonna start doing more of commercial or like traveling.
Hopefully,
as far
yeah.
as
As far as like the earliest booking available, I think I saw was September
Bro,
of
how
this year.
much?
$1 million. Starting at $1 million for the fucking side cabin. No view.
economy class.
Economy class. You get a fucking cramped seat next to the engine just in
Right.
case. That's crazy, dude, though. But I am happy that everything went right. There was this doubt in my head that something might have gone wrong because of the whole, we have coronavirus, we have the wildfires, the riots, everything I was like, there's no reason this can go right? Because it's 2020. Shit's
And the past one blew up.
the past one blew up. It was rescheduled because of the bad weather. But dude, honestly, look, I was excited, genuinely, not just because of the hype, like, oh, something's gonna happen today.
Yeah.
I was excited because, like, do you want to go to space? Would you do it?
I would want to, but I think of I guess money wise, I don't think we would probably be able to. I guess more people of like the lower class, middle class.
Yeah. Let's say if
We would
Elon
probably-
Musk gave you a free ticket,
A free ticket? Oh yeah, I would go.
you would go? Like, it wouldn't scare you?
After a couple rides.
Okay. Like,
After I see a couple people go,
Yeah.
I'll probably go.
yeah, right.
But I mean, I don't see this. It's commercial. I mean,
Yeah.
more. It's more of a like a trip. You could probably buy in to go to space and stuff.
Yeah.
But I think maybe up to like I see it happening to like our grandchildren where they could like affordably probably go to space.
Afford, like, on a regular basis,
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
Okay, yeah, I kind of agree with that. I also maybe foresee it because I think they mentioned it that in 5 to 10 years, they said that was going to be something they're planning on making it like commercially viable where it's easy.
Yeah.
I hope, dude, because if we could go to
That'd be
fucking,
badass.
that'd be right. Going to the moon, like it's like, oh fuck, let's go to the moon, like we went to fucking Las Vegas, or like you guys went to fucking Norway. Like, hey, let's just go to the moon. Let's fucking go to the moon. Switzerland, sorry.
Get it right.
Excuse me.
Oh, dude. Yeah.
Dude, that's crazy though. Imagine going to the moon, and here's the thing. Like, it's really hard 10 years, 20 years. Let's say 20 years ago to imagine that today or yesterday or the day before happening, where SpaceX launches commercial spacecraft and transports NASA astronauts. 20 years ago, we were 6 years old, 7 years old. At that age, 2000, 1999, whatever, I don't think anyone could have thought that was something that was going to happen that early in our life.
I mean, I didn't even think the electric cars as it is. I feel like that's kind of like we went like a step too what's it called, too quick as far as electric cars, and then I mean just themselves also being self-driving cars.
Yeah,
You know, that's kind of like
that's scary. I mean, we actually drove one when we went
that
to.
was crazy. That was fun.
That was fun.
That was fun.
The
But it was crazy how well like it performed
Yeah,
as far as being like self-driven.
and smooth and quiet.
Yeah,
It was-
that was a nice car.
It was weird. It was I don't want to say off-putting because it wasn't like in a bad way. It was something I wasn't used to. You know, you turn on a car, even if it's a small engine, you hear the like little.
How?
So like that's what was interesting. Like you wouldn't know
Not in the
if
valley though.
no, not in the yeah, no in the back. No, but the crazy thing is, as soon as you turn it on, you wouldn't know it was on unless you saw the actual
the screen
turn
just
on.
turned on.
And it was so quiet. It felt weird. I know when we first took off with the what was it, the P90 or what was it?
I think it was a P90.
P90?
The Model
X. Yeah. So we turned it on, we moved back, and it felt like it wasn't supposed to be moving, but it was. It felt weird, man. But that kind of puts you in this weird seat where you're like, I wonder what's going to happen in the next 20 years. We're going to be 46, which isn't that old if you think about it. You know what I mean? We're going to be, my dad's right now like, what, 51, and he's still, I'm maybe he fucking does more push-ups than I do by a long shot. This guy does 400, 500 push-ups on a regular fucking day, and he's fit.
Yeah.
He's fit. So at that age, I'm pretty sure we can pretty much be in good health, right? But imagine the technology. I mean, hands down, you said you'd be down to go to space, right? You're not afraid of like dying or like, you know, like, I mean, obviously, right, after it's been tested a few times and a lot of people have done it, it's a norm, right? You would do it, right?
Yeah.
What about Mars? I know that's something Elon wanted to do in the future was go to Mars and inhabit it. I don't see you as the type of person who would go.
I don't think I would leave permanently. I don't know why. I think it's also kind of like a Mexican Hispanic thing that
Yeah.
we get comfortable being around family.
Yeah.
Because I mean that I know of, like we help each other out a lot.
Yeah.
Hispanic families. So I don't see myself kind of like going over there unless I had like nothing else to stay for, you know.
Yeah.
I mean,
single-
if I could had like for some reason no family, right? Hopefully not. But if it was just like me and my wife and I, you know, just to go, I would probably go. But other than that, like I don't see myself probably going permanently staying over there.
And even to visit, though, let's say the visit round trip was a 10-year trip, and that's fast.
Yeah.
Would you? That's a long time.
Nah,
No,
probably
right?
not.
'Cause that's the
I didn't
thing.
think about it that way.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, because even
How
around,
long is it to get to Mars? Now,
I think right now,
is it years?
well, we have the Google, so I'm pretty sure it's not. I'm pretty sure it's not like 20 years. I'm pretty sure
If it's like weeks, no, it's months for sure.
maybe
That's
years.
3 months.
Oh, it's not that bad.
A year.
A year. Okay.
Basically a year just to get there, or to go and come back.
Oh, dude, imagine that. Dude, fucking driving to like imagine driving to New York. It's a 21-hour drive a day. The total journey time from Earth to Mars takes
Probably
between
wouldn't go.
300 days on the depending on the launch
Yeah.
and the
So
alignment
if
of
you're
the Earth.
facing them, and yeah, I'll probably go to the moon and back.
Yeah, the moon is
Maybe
fine.
not Mars.
Mars is 300 days, a
But
full
even then,
year.
that's scary though. Imagine looking down on the Earth
That is
and then
fucking
looking around and seeing nothing but emptiness.
That's scary.
Darkness.
A lot of people from the astronauts. I saw this documentary. I think I recommended it to you and your wife. Was the One Strange Rock? I think it's on Netflix. I recommend you guys watch if you haven't already. One Strange Rock. Walk.
One strange walk. I haven't seen it.
It's really good because every episode starts with an astronaut's perspective.
Let's watch it live.
They do it. Fuck it. Live stream 3 hours. No, it's like a series. It's a mini series. It's a 1 season long, but Will Smith hosts it. So, I mean, that's already a winning ticket there. But the interesting thing about the show is that they get those astronauts' perspective and they're basically glorifying the Earth. And I like it. And I don't mean it in a negative way. They're glorifying how awesome Earth is and how when they're up there and they see that blue marble, how empty everything is and how small everything is, how they don't see borders or anything. We're just one person. They get this kind of like life-changing moment where they realize how lucky we are to live on such a like nice planet where there's water, there's wind, there's rain, there's grass, there's animals. And you compare it to like the moon, it's a barren, just
nothing.
Dusty. Yeah. I mean, Mars, the same thing. How about let's go really far into the future, right? We're going to Mars already. It's a regular thing where we go, we have a colony.
Light
in
travel
Mars.
and stuff.
Not I don't want to say light travel because that's fucking crazy, man. That's like really far into the future. I'm talking about like, let's say in the next 10 years, 20 years, Elon Musk makes it to the moon. He goes 1 full year and then comes back 5 years later. He likes it. Then 10 years down the line, we make a colony or whatever, right? I think it starts getting philosophical at that point because here's the thing. Let's say we get the technology to be able to terraform. Do you know what terraform is? Mm-mm. So let's say we get to Mars, right? And we say, hey, we want to make it habitable. We know about science. We know how rain is formed. We know how atmospheres are formed. We know how specific chemicals alters other chemicals, and we know how to alter things. Why not? Like even Elon Musk suggested it. He's like, let's nuke Mars, and the reason he wants to nuke it is he wants to jumpstart basically, and not for lack of a better term, but to keep it simple, is he wants to jumpstart the ecosystem there by nuking it, by releasing the carbon dioxide of the ice plates, releasing all that. Not carbon dioxide, but the nitrogen of the water, I guess, into the atmosphere, and it's slowly starting to basically start a life cycle. That's when we talk about terraforming. So basically making big changes to big planets. I think in the future, that is our ultimate destiny. Where we go to other planets and we start establishing ourselves, but in a way where we're making Earths everywhere. You know what I mean?
Okay.
That would be fucking awesome. Just imagine that. Going into space, 5 years. Well, in a 5-year journey, right? And then the sole purpose is going to Mars and nuking the ice caps, making an atmosphere, making Earth. Here's where, and this is where I say it gets philosophical, dude. Because we're acting like gods.
Yeah, that is crazy.
That's crazy, right?
It's dangerous at some point as well.
It does.
Could be.
It does, right?
But then, okay, if we start doing that to planets and stuff, do you not see it happening as to where, the rich people, the powerful people, this is a better planet, only this type of
like
this
Elysium.
type of people, yeah, these this kind of society is like, we're all gonna inhabit this planet, or Earth is like the better planet. Let's send all these people, inmates, all these people that are going to jail. Let's send them off basically to die, to this other planet.
That's a probability. It's not something I'm saying that's not gonna happen, right? At the same time, I don't know, man. I hope it doesn't happen.
No, you don't want it to happen.
I don't want it to happen, but it's not like I'm sure it's going to happen. You know what I mean? I know in this world, even in this world, some poor people or really low class, they have beautiful scenery. It's just their living condition isn't the best, So I think hopefully we do, because again, here's the thing. It's a necessity, right? In that planet, there's going to be people who need to work it. So that necessity is going to have that basic value in that planet. Who's going to be terraforming? Who's going to be working these machines? Who's going to be making the food for the people who don't want to do anything but sit down and enjoy their luxury? You know what I mean? So I think hopefully it balances just like it balances here. We have some places where basically all the poor accumulate, but it's not so basically what I'm trying to say is, as we're kind of developing in our own country, in our own world, the middle class is gradually growing and growing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think by statistics, by statistics that we see is that the middle class is growing bigger and bigger than it was before. I mean, and if you think about the times where there was like, kings and kingdoms and like empires, the Rome and all that shit, right? It was a big difference. There was basically no middle class. There was either you were really fucking poor or you were extremely rich. Yeah. And that's been something that's been balancing out over time. And I think eventually it'll kind of lead to that because everyone kind of realizes that we need each other. So hopefully that effect is taken off into another world. I mean, again, Elon isn't doing this. I haven't seen it. He's not doing it for the wrong reasons. So he's doing it with a pretty good intention of, he just wants to fucking get to Mars. This guy, he wants to go to Mars, and that's been his own hope. He's invested his own money into his company at times of like, fearing bankruptcy and all that shit. So it kind of shows good promise, and that's what I'm kind of hoping for. I'm not going to lie, though, I am not going to ignore the fact that there will be in the future other companies that have their own means of approach.
Their own agenda, yeah.
So I can't really say shit against that, right? What I am kind of looking forward to is, you remember that documentary we watched? I know you know which one I'm talking about. Talk about this topic. Yeah.
Aliens.
Yeah, aliens. But you know which one I'm talking about, right? Bob Lazar. So I'm not going to get into the whole topic of aliens. Maybe I will, maybe I won't. I don't know. It depends on how this rolls. But what I'm trying to say is that the whole premise of this documentary, and Bob Lazar, whenever he makes appearances in either the Joe Rogan podcast, which I know you've seen, and Netflix, was regarding one specific thing. And I know you remember it.
Element 115?
Yeah.
Element.
I think it was 113.
113?
I think it was. Let me
that
Google.
Special element that he would not want to talk about.
Or was it 115? I think it was 115. Yeah. QQ5, no mames. 115.
Yeah, I think it was element 115 that he didn't want to talk about. Is it?
I think it was.
Just look up his name.
Oh yeah, it was 115. Okay. So, I'm sorry, dude. So yeah, element 115.
Yeah.
Now, I don't want to get into it in a conspiracy way. I don't want to get into it whether it exists or not. I really don't, because it could get into a whole long, I'm going to assume it does, because that motherfucker made it seem like he does.
Yeah.
I think we can agree, right?
Yeah.
It is pretty compelling evidence as far as that goes. I think that in the future is going to propel significantly what it means to space travel.
As far as science and all that?
Science, the whole premise of what that whole element does, right? It bends gravity. Mm-hmm. Basically, it's a gravity altering element. So basically, this guy, Bob Lazar, he was experimenting on UFO crafts that had, just UFOs, right? UFOs that had element 115 in the actual structure, and that was their primary, basically their gasoline, right? So
their fuel, their former traveling, yeah.
So that would allow them to get to speeds that were, I don't want to say a specific kind of speed of measurement, but it was real fucking fast, maybe even faster than light, giving that option of faster than light. I don't know if that's true. What I'm trying to say is that I think that altering of gravity is going to give us access to going to these planets far away faster than light. Whether it be making a loop, a wormhole, bending gravity, because ultimately that's what really is keeping you. It was interesting, dude, because he actually did say that when you're in that spaceship, like I said, it's fucking complicated, and it's amazing because he says that when you're in that spaceship, it basically kind of cocoons you around the spaceship. It makes a cocoon that basically keeps you away from air resistance and shit like that, which is why you're able
protects you basically. Yeah.
And so recently, during this whole pandemic, you remember the whole Pentagon releasing those
videos about
You saw how they went real fast, right?
Yeah.
Exactly like Bob Lazar said. They would turn to the side, belly first, and just swoosh. Almost like something was pulling them. That's what he said, right? I tried fucking, I tried messaging. I tried it myself. No, I tried messaging Elon Musk on Twitter, dude. Dude, I'm trying to help him, man. I'm trying to fucking help him. I want to help him, dude, because I want to get to that point where we're exploring the cosmos, dude. Like, and going off topic real quick, when it's on topic, but a little bit on a different route. I don't know why more companies aren't investing a lot more money into this. I don't know if you ever seen these articles, but where they say the first companies who, I guess I want to say, market the whole mining asteroids are going to be trillionaires. Easy. Because of the amount of asteroids that are in the solar system and how much minerals they have available. So quick, they'll be trillionaires. More than trillionaires. I don't know why that's not an incentive. If I was a company that, maybe like SpaceX or, someone else, it'd be like, you know what, dude, we need to fucking mine the asteroids. Because imagine having that much available resources everywhere. And if you're the only one doing it, you are immediately like richer than anyone in the world. That's fucking crazy.
Yeah, that jumpstart. Yeah. We're doing it first.
That's fucking crazy, dude. So that's my point being is that imagine kind of doing that. So back to why I messaged him, right? I told him, dude, I think element 115 is going to help you. I don't know why he does. I mean, I don't know if he does, right? But I don't know why he hasn't hired Bob Lazar by now.
Well, didn't Bob Lazar had he didn't want anything to do with it, and he didn't want to share any information he had on that.
But dude, at this point, fucking Elon Musk is powerful, dude.
Well, yeah, but
I mean, I'm pretty sure
I'm sure he knows. Like, I'm sure he maybe tried or something.
Just imagine, dude.
That'd be crazy.
Because the biggest problem has always been how the fuck do we get away from our gravity? That's always the reason why it's so hard to get to space is because gravity is so heavy. So if not magically, right? But if we had an element that can alter our gravity or a means that we developed that could alter our gravity, that'd be fucking amazing. Just to go up to space with no problem, dude. That would change drastically how we explore the world, which is, again, I think is going to be a big role. Do you think they're going to come out with that, like, eventually?
Hopefully in our lifetime.
Right? Like,
hopefully.
But do you think?
I don't know at this point. I really don't know. Because
they're releasing shit.
You don't really know. You don't really hear too many companies of, I guess, like, exploring or trying to do, like, new things. I think everybody's just trying to, like, protect their investment and just, like, invest in something that's secure that they already know. So in that case, I wouldn't know.
You saw that.
I hope so.
I mean, fuck me too, dude. You saw on the company, not the company. You saw Russia. I don't know if you saw in that documentary, but they were trying to make their own version of Element 115.
Yeah,
they're trying to synthesize it. That's fucking crazy. Because I think one of the arguments was that Bob Lazar was making was that the reason why the government wants to keep a wrap on it so tight is because the moment someone realizes or gets access to gravity defining technology, they basically have the upper hand over everyone in the world. Yeah. That's crazy because he was explaining things like you can make basically force fields. You have access to moving shit with ease. Like, just the fact that you have force fields, like someone tries to nuke you, the fact that gravity is going to be keeping that away is winning. You have deterrent against the nukes with no problems. So, I mean, it's weird. It's annoying. I know one of the arguments that they were making in another podcast I was listening to was that the fact that they don't make this public is why we haven't really found out about how it works, because that's what they're trying to figure out is how they work, how we can replicate it.
Yeah.
And one of the biggest issues they've had was how can we help the government replicate it if the public doesn't have access to it? Like, I don't know if you know how Linux works, but it's an operating system.
Yeah.
And the reason it's really popular and really well made is because it's an open code, open source, or I'm not sure what it's called, but basically it's always updating. Like, every minute someone updates it because it's open source. So there's always a newer version because people are constantly improving it, which is, I think it's nice. I think the moment I mean, it's always political, dude, because the reason why we don't want to share it is because we're afraid our enemies are going to find out. Yeah,
and that's probably the main reason why. Because, I mean, the first thing people will try to do, weaponize it to have the, like you said, the upper hand, or to have the advantage of, like, okay, now we can do whatever we want.
there's some theories that say that the reason why aliens don't visit us or they don't want to come, a lot of it is because they think they want to help us. That's one. And the reason they don't want to come and help us or show us new technology.
They know how we are.
Yeah, it's because they know that the moment they present us with this technology, we're going to try to use it for, against the other
bad
people.
Reasons,
yeah, for bad reasons. And apart from that is that since we're not united as a world, they don't really have anyone to kind of present it to. Who are they going to present it to? It's like the United States, Russia, China. Who's the main? And I think that's one thing. Honestly, I think that's something we as a country, as a world, should work on. I'm patriotic. I am. I love United States, America. But I think we're past this whole nationality thing. We've realized we're not alone in the world. We realize we're all in it for the same purpose, to live long, to keep going, to make our lives better. So I think it would only benefit everyone if the whole world united as one. I know I sound like a fucking hippie, right?
No, but there has to be something out there, or else why would they make that Space Force?
See, that's another thing, dude. It's like, why would Trump make the fucking Space Force?
There's nothing.
That they did the fucking Netflix, I guess, right? They're making.
Oh, I saw.
That's fine, right? But like, there is something happening. We don't know everything. That's the thing. That's something we have to accept. Is we don't have access to this type of shit or this knowledge, and they're moving their pieces accordingly. So I'm pretty sure they know something big is gonna happen. Hopefully, in the time soon. I mean, I'm telling you, dude, if we had access to that would be life-changing. I'm scared, man. I mean, I'm scared to fly.
To talk about life-changing, and going back on Elon Musk and his companies, did you hear about the chips he's making to implant on people's heads?
Oh, yeah. Would you do it?
I would, but at the same time, it's like...
Not the first generations is what you...
It's kind of, yeah, you go back to the same thing as far as like... Okay, like how much can you control it and how much can it control you?
I know it's always a problem with people is that whole control, right? Like you're
control. Scared of all those conspiracies about the government and all that. They want to they're trying to control you.
It is scary putting something in your mind, right?
But I think I would.
I think
I would, because supposedly he's saying that basically that will restore function.
Oh yeah.
Functions.
Wow. You can get an erection again, buddies, with this chip.
Yeah, apparently.
No, yeah. Basically, the
people
premise.
that had like eyesight problems, stuff like that, it'll reconnect your nervous, like your nervous system in a way that you will regain all those like disabilities that you had.
Yeah, some people are afraid of that, dude. Like I know,
but I mean, wouldn't you? Like if you were blind and you had the option to like be able to see. You wouldn't take it?
If I can better myself with technology, I mean, we do it with the phones and iPads.
Because I know some people see it as you get into it like as a religion kind of thing.
That's what Michael remember? Michael. No, I'm sorry, dog. Yeah. I'm sorry, dog. No, remember the host, the ex co-host, fucker. that motherfucker. Cool. No, hey man, I love you. But here's the thing: when you bring it up to him, that's one way a lot of people react is the religious mark of the beast they're afraid of. I don't know why. Like, I know it's in the Bible, but I don't think that's something you should be afraid of if it means to better yourself.
Yeah.
Like, you would...
I think I would take advantage of it.
Yeah.
If I could, I would.
You fucking smarter than anyone? Shit. Bluetooth instant download updates to your shit. I know... you should see the movie Elysium, because this is like we're talking about this whole futuristic shit where they have, and it's like what you said, where basically they make this spaceship in space. Spaceship, and a space spaceship, not an Earth spaceship, a space spaceship, and basically all the rich people live there, and Earth is now the wasteland, and that's where the poor people live. I mean, people basically have artificial limbs already on themselves. And to a certain extent, we are already, I think like I mentioned, is that if you lose your phone, you feel like a part of you is missing. Like if you forget it, you're like, fuck, you feel crippled in a way.
What's your mom's number?
Right? What?
What's your mom's number?
Yeah. Wait. Not, that's the thing.
Exactly.
Right? That's what I'm saying. Like, I know her old one. But not the new one.
And that's me. I won't remember anything.
It's not. I know a lot of people like to look at it as something bad, like, oh, we depend too much on the phone. But here's the thing: it's not that we depend too much on the phone. It's just that we are adapted to it, and it's not like without it we fucking go crazy. We just learn how. We just
Some people do.
some people, yeah, no, some people do, and
It depends. Yeah, it depends also how you use it. I mean, if you just use it for what social media stuff
social
like that.
media. It's a lot of power. That's one thing I was bringing up to in one of the previous podcasts is that it's power that you need to learn how to use because a lot of people take it for granted. I mean, it's the world's knowledge is in there. You have access to anything you want. You can do whatever the fuck you need to learn shit. And it's all in mobile way. You don't have to carry a big ass backpack or anything. So in a sense, like I said, it's an extension of yourself and it's a useful extension of yourself. And if you use it wrong, it could hurt you. It can. And we see it every day, right? So that's what I'm saying. Like, when you have those augmentations, like the chip he wants to install, I would do it, especially when people start modding it and shit.
Right? Jailbreak.
Get this hack, jailbreak your chip today, and download 3 times the speed. And I was like, okay, what's scary is, you remember Upload?
Yeah.
When they would monetize most of the shit, that's scary. It's like, okay, so basically you're saying if I have to keep using it, I have to pay a monthly subscription, or I have to pay extra to get more access to better things. And that's when it's scary, when it's like a pay to win type of deal.
Yeah.
That's when you kind of get like, well, how come rich people get that access and we don't? And that's where I guess I could see more protests happening.
Yeah.
Because that's fucking scary. Imagine just because you're richer, you're smarter. But here's the thing. Interestingly, is it any different from now? If you're richer, you're more likely smarter because you get better education, right? You get
to a
certain extent,
yes,
right? Because
Because you were like born rich, also. I mean, you can't
exactly. But like my point is like
typically yes.
Typically yes. People who are more well off, they're better educated because they have access to better schools, right? And that's my point. Like it to a certain extent, it is kind of hand in hand. But that's when you start kind of tying it in with like social equality and you know, does everyone deserve that right amount of opportunity as everyone else does, and etc. And it gets a whole nother fucking conversation with another set of philosophy. But I mean, going back to the basic question I asked, right, was like, yes, I would fucking augment myself. It just really has to do. I mean, here's the thing. Even if it did cost more money to get smarter, would you, just because of that, not do it, even if you would still be smarter than what you are right now?
I think it still would.
Right?
Just becoming smarter, I mean, you would... Just think of it this way. If you can, like, make yourself be what you try to be every day. For example, if, you wake up one day feeling sluggish or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But with that chip, you can, like, program yourself to, like, okay, I'm going to force myself to sleep early, wake up early, be more productive, do more things, be more focused. I mean, that itself, it pays
awesome.
off. And, I mean, the smarter you're getting that way, the easier, I think, right, the easier it would become to make more money, you know?
Where did you see that?
I think I saw it in his podcast.
Okay.
With Joe Rogan.
Do you think it's interesting that he said specifically, this can help people with disabilities? Instead of saying shit like, this will help you sleep better, this can make you more motivated, this can alter your chemical.
Yeah.
Do you think that's interesting? Like, he didn't want to say that shit because it was going to come off too creepy or or like aggressive?
Too, I guess not creeper aggressive, but more like insensitive. He would come off more of like a business kind of thing.
Yeah.
Than more of a helpful way for human beings. Right?
Yeah, like there's a specific word for it when you're it's a fucking big word, but a philanthropist. He wanted to come across in that sense where he was, I'm trying to do this to help people.
To help people, but
not to make you an advanced fucking being. And here's my other point is, at what point do you not become a supreme being with that augmentation? Again, it goes back to the whole religion sense.
That's what's crazy, because I mean, you go back to you think of, what was it, pastimes where they're thinking about like bionic or what is it, limbs and artificial limbs and stuff like that, as far as like soldiers, and how that would make them like better soldiers,
super soldiers, and
exactly. So if you take this, for example, and let's say you can take an inmate or someone that's like he was in there for life, right?
Mm-hmm.
Someone that's for life in jail. you take that person, you put that in there, you program him to like have no emotion, to become like basically a perfect soldier. I mean, that's kind of scary if you can like just program someone like that.
Yeah,
you know?
where's the ethical line, right? Or here's a better one. Here's a way better one. Cause your shit sucks.
Yeah.
No. No, I'm not like, look, but like in that sense where you're programming someone who basically has no other purpose in life, right? Because I don't want to be insensitive, because when someone's life in prison, they have no other, like, I don't want to say like an asshole, but that's what they're ultimately going to do is just life in prison. So why not make them more useful to the country or whatever, right? What if once you install that, you can change them, their personalities and their memories, basically another person?
Yeah.
Where would that life sentence end? And would you still consider him being in that life sentence or not? Like, he's a new fucking person, and he doesn't remember what he did or why he did it. He doesn't. If you see his programming, right, you'll see that he doesn't want to kill.
Who he was,
He doesn't have the urge to, like, do that who he was shit. Where would you draw the line and say, you know what, this guy can go free because he's not the same?
I mean, I would say as soon as they would like implant that on him.
Right.
They'll reprogram him.
I mean, you have control. You can blow up the fucking brain. You do some shit. But that's crazy, right? Because a lot of people are going to be like, no, he did that as a person. Because then I guess that whole question, again, it gets into that philosophy and that religious shit is what are we as people? Are we memories, or are we our flesh? What makes Marcos and what makes Victor Victor? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Our memories or our image,
consciousness and all that.
So that's what I'm saying. Like, when you get that into the let's say that life in prison person who did a horrible crime, and you implant them, you change their reality, you change their idea, their thought process, their amount of testosterone, all of that, basically making them the perfect human. Where do we draw the line, and how are people going to react to that?
That's crazy.
That's
you think about it that way. Yeah.
That's scary. And again, going back to the superhuman thing is, I mean, imagine, having the perfect level of patience, the perfect level of motivation, perfect sleep, would be superhuman. Again, where is that line? I think here's the thing: the whole religious thing, it's real. And again, I don't want to be insensitive. The thing is, I think that limits people. This whole ideology that we need to stay in that religious mindset. I think, in a manner of speaking, God, because I believe in God. I think you do too. Right? Yeah. I believe in God. I don't like associating it with a Christian God, or I don't like to think of it in that sense. I like to think of it that we have a God. There's Almighty, and He created us, right? But I also like to think that, I mean, and when I say but, I don't mean like, but He doesn't exist. No, I mean, like, I know it aligns with that whole Christianity. I know it aligns with Christianity, sorry. But what I'm saying is that I don't believe that we were meant to just be restricted as far as how far we get in technology. I think we have the capability of making ourselves gods, and we need to get there, because it's our purpose in life to be the best we can, the best ultimate beings we can, which is scary because, again, that traditional sense gets in. Well, what is our limit?
Yeah.
Is living forever ungodly? Is living forever a sin? You know what I mean? Does that chip, the moment you insert it, and is somehow connected to the aging process and you become immortal? Shit, you can die, but that chip will have a save game that could be planted.
Kind of like the cloud upload.
Like upload. Like, that's when you start questioning what the fuck is the line, and is that ungodly? Is that a sin? Is that in that context of Christianity and religious? Is that something that we shouldn't do because it's against God's will? That's fucking crazy. That's the type of shit that a lot of people kind of start arguing about, and kind of, I guess. Here's the thing. I'm going to ask you something, and I know the answer, but I want to make a point. What do you think your parents would think of that?
I'm sure they would be against it.
Right? They'd be like, fuck that. Like, that's the devil.
Yeah.
And then why?
I don't know.
That's crazy to think that Well, it's not crazy. What I'm trying to say is that I think my parents too. Don't get me wrong. Well, actually, my dad. I don't know if he would. My dad's a little bit different. No, actually, he said he wouldn't want to die. I think he didn't want to live forever. I'm not sure exactly what he said. He's weird. My mom doesn't though. You know what? I don't know if my mom does anymore. I've talked to her about all this shit, and I try to convince her, man, because I gotta open up her perspective. That's the thing. A lot of times, religious people, they're real closed-minded as far as how they think of God and religion, and that's dangerous, I think. So when you ask them, would you want to live forever, and they say no, and you ask them why, it's weird because the answer they give is because we'd always died and death has always been a thing. You know what I mean?
It's part of life, yeah.
It's part of life, exactly. And my point is like, okay, but where's the line of how long and how short we should live? Because thousands of years ago, we used to live till we were 30.
30s, yeah, was the norm, more or less.
And now we live to 100. Is that ungodly? If we live to 300, what's the difference? You know, what gives that difference? If, let's say I told you tomorrow, you tell your mom and dad, Mom, if I give you this pill, you'll live to 1,000. Would she take it?
Probably not.
That's my point. Again, is that even if you don't say immortality, but you give a longer number than what you normally are used to, I think the fact that they're accustomed is what kind of drives their reality and their morals, which I think is scary because, again, goes back to that whole non-progressive way of thinking, the machismo, the whole sexism, that you're trying to you're trying to abide by that same ideology that you're used to because it's comfortable. And I think because people don't know about the new things and it's uncomfortable to think of, they don't want to think about it. It's scary. You tell them you want to live forever and they'll be like, fuck, dude, no, I don't. Or I know what the other co-host, I keep referring to because we were talking to it. That's why I'm not being a little bitch. But the reason why I bring it up is because he said, I'm not thinking about that right now. I don't want to think about that right now. And then I challenged him again with the same question. Was that, okay, when do you want to think about it? When you're 50, when do you think is a good time? It's not a bad time to think about it, but a lot of people like to just avoid these questions because it's scary and it's a rabbit hole, dude.
It is.
It's a fucking rabbit hole to kind of think about eternity and life. But I mean,
yeah, going back to like the chips and all the technology that we're going through.
Yeah,
it's crazy. I guess as far as like when I was young, like growing up in the 90s.
Yeah.
Like we actually went through like, I guess, a lot of like technological advances.
Yes.
90s, 2000s. And then to think of now, you know, like we're getting into like the chips, the virtual reality, all that crap.
VR is crazy.
It is.
We were talking about it, me and Kathy, yesterday, actually right before we went to sleep, before we fought. Not that we didn't fight, but I was telling her how I remember I used to play with my dad's computer, but I'm talking about big white computer with a big white like desktop, and it had 4 gigs of total space. 4 fucking gigs. I don't even know the RAM.
The RAM was like probably like 120 megabytes, 512 megabytes.
Dude, I would play all day on that shit on this CD-ROM of Pokemon just to print out.
A cassette. Remember the floppies?
Oh, dude, yes, I remember.
And you would like burn all those games into the floppies.
Dude, I remember that shit. So that's what I'm saying. Like, it's a huge
8 megabytes.
Dude, it's
and a floppy.
That was fucking crazy, dude. That's 8 megabytes is
It's nothing.
How many music
files?
It's a song. That's a song. A high quality song.
Yeah, high quality is like 5, 7
dude,
megabytes.
On the fucking phone, you have like, I don't even know how many times more power than the computer.
Yeah.
And to go through that change, we don't realize it, right? We're fucking blessed, but that's crazy to think about. I remember I was telling Kathy, and I would be like, I was so amazed with that. Like the fact that I could print out my Pokemon collage I would make. I would put fucking Squirtle and Charizard and Charmander and be like, oh yeah, this is gonna be it. This is the one.
When you first started going on the the browser, the internet, and all that.
Oh, dial-up, dude. AOL and shit. Yeah, my sister would be on
looking
the phone.
up the cheat codes for was it GTA Grand Theft Auto?
Dude, that was
writing them down because we had no printers.
It was simple.
Yeah, it was nice.
Remember that? Like the simpleness. I guess we were so grateful of having that access.
Yeah.
Now it's so much access, so much content, so much.
You take it for granted.
Yeah, it's every day. It's nice that it's so much that it's whatever.
Yeah.
But it's also like, damn, It's a both thing, I think. Because I like the fact that this is normal, that we have technology everywhere, and it's like whatever to us, it's fucking cool. It's like you see a future movie and people are like fucking driving flying cars and teleporting, and it's like, oh, it's nothing. It's not even a big deal. I like that. I like that we've gone to that point. But it's also nice to have that recollection of seeing back and looking back at that whole, oh, wow, dude, that was a big climb, which is, again, we did that climb in, what, 20 years? 25 years, something like that.
It's been, I mean, let's just say the 90s to now is 30 years.
30 years.
30
right?
years.
And even then in the 90s, I think the most interesting parts were like the second half of the 90s.
Yeah.
So
that's when computers, cell phones, and everything started like phones. More. Yeah.
And then here's arguably, I think you can agree with me, is that it's only gotten faster, the upgrade speeds. Like 10 years ago was more drastically different than 20 years ago.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Well, not like that. I'm saying like if we were to check 20 years ago to 10 years ago, like say 1995 to, or let's go 10 years, 1995 to 2005, there was big changes, right? But 2005 to 2015,
there were big changes.
Big changes, right? And even 2015 to 2020, way bigger changes. So that's what my point is, that in 5 years, 10 years, imagine where we're going to be, how far we're going to get in space travel, how easy it's going to be a norm where, I went to fucking, well, how long did Switzerland take to get?
Dude, it was from, on the way over there, we flew from Washington straight to Switzerland. And if I'm not mistaken, that was an 8 to 10 hour flight.
Fuck. So imagine in the future.
That was terrible. It was a terrible
10-hour fucking flight.
The way back was like 14 hours. Because we flew from, I think we went back into Germany, which was further away from us.
Oh, fuck. Pre-pandemic, of course.
And we flew straight from Germany all the way to Houston. So we passed Washington. So that's another 4 hours. Washington to Houston.
Ugh.
So it was like a 14-hour flight.
Okay, so imagine SpaceX makes their own fucking airplane where, okay, fuck it, we're not going to go through the sky. We're actually going to go into space and fast because there's no wind resistance there. That's an hour. Imagine.
That'd be crazy.
That'd be fucking crazy.
Well, they had that, what was the plane?
Oh, I remember that plane, the supersonic one. Yeah, I don't know what happened to that one. I saw this whole documentary about it.
They stopped it because it was damaging
airlines.
Earth. Yeah, well, not airlines, but because of the sonic boom.
Oh, okay, yeah.
I think it was damaging the atmosphere. Was it?
I think so.
It was damaging to the Earth somehow.
Dude, but I'm just saying, there's gonna be a lot of advancements. I'm looking forward to it, and let me check something real quick. At 51 minutes so far.
Oh yeah.
Also, we went faster.
Yeah, that one did.
I'm excited. I'm always fucking excited for the future, dude. I try to keep up with technology as much as I can. As much as it changes, like I try to sell my shit. And that's what's cool about all these apps and like markets, is that you can sell them reasonably fast and whatever. And then sometimes fucking, like, especially with this whole fucking crisis shit we go through. Did you know in Texas it's another state of disaster because of the riots?
Really?
Yeah. I think today the governor had
San Antonio, no?
No, everywhere in Texas. A state of disaster. Another one apart from the coronavirus.
So what's going to happen?
No.
Do we have a curfew again?
I think we will. I don't know. I know in Dallas and San Antonio they have curfews. But going back to the point was that market drives like changes in prices for like a bunch of shit that I want to buy. So that kind of helps out with making it cheaper when these pandemics and shit happen. But well, my point was that it's cool because I'm looking forward to new shit every month, every year, and it's awesome. It's amazing to keep up with technology. It's a blessing, and I know my dad makes a point to kind of tell me that to his brother, especially my tío, my uncle. He says, my son, when he talks to him, my son got me back into technology, like the whole phone, and it's good. It's a drag, but it's cool. Like when you get back into it as a person, the only thing stopping is yourself to get out of technology. You got to make it it's an investment, I think. If you get yourself involved in technology and manage yourself in technology into our future, into aliens. It's interesting, dude.
I agree.
I agree with everything you said.
No, but like the thing I'm very interested in is that chip. in your brain for some reason.
It's exciting.
It like fascinates me in a way.
I know. I think because of the possibilities. Like
you
imagine
could possibly do whatever you want.
Imagine VR. Like, okay, that can affect you to think you're in VR.
But that's crazy. Because I remember watching a movie. I'm terrible with movies and names and actors and all that.
Hey.
But I remember watching a movie where like I don't know if it was a cartoon or like a real movie, but there was this. I think everybody was implanted with this like chip, and at any time being, whoever was in control of that could control like the frequency inside the chip and affect people's moods. And I think they were like aggressive. They were attacking someone. What was it? What movie is it?
The Kingsman?
Is it?
Is it the one where they start fighting in church and they start exploding shit?
That one. They start blowing up their heads, right?
Yeah. That was crazy. Like how you could change the mood. And I don't see that as something that's impossible. That makes sense.
And that's the only thing that most people will be concerned of.
It's not something that you shouldn't be afraid of. I mean, imagine a fucking we are in war and then the country on the opposing side sends a fucking frequency to kind of make you go crazy. Yeah. It's scary, but I mean, I'm pretty sure there are going to be ways of kind of deterring that, right?
Buy a VPN.
Buy a VPN now, $5.99. Do you have VPN?
No, I don't.
I canceled. I canceled mine recently because I haven't used it, and I was trying to use this other one, but it never developed, and I got kind of annoyed with. I need to get it again though, but because it's good having that privacy.
Really?
For porn? No, I'm playing joking. No, for downloading shit. Like this podcast.
Yeah, right.
No, I think that's a good wrap though. That's a good we went into more of the technology. I wanted to get into it. It's because aliens is a whole other conversation, man.
It is.
It's because it involves conspiracy theories that are really compelling, but that go really far back into history. I know you've seen those, right? Like the ancient aliens and shit.
Yeah.
And then other shit like the common fucking same things that old civilizations have on their walls.
I mean, what you said earlier, going back to the ancient aliens.
Ancient aliens.
You know how they have a conspiracy where like the pyramids were
landing.
They were landings, but they were the Egyptians were helped by the aliens.
Yeah,
to build them and all that.
That's what I'm saying.
And you know how you're saying now that like aliens don't know who to share this power with, because now like they probably see our civilization that's all messed up. You know, everybody's trying to be like everybody's enemy.
Yeah, everyone's their own superpower.
Trying to compete. Yeah. But back in the day when like civilization wasn't like as connected as we are now.
That's true,
like
right?
The Aztecs and all that, and then how the Aztec pyramids, the Egyptian pyramids, and all that. You know how like they make a triangle.
Yeah, they do. I know. And see, here's the thing. It sounds crazy because it sounds like crazy, but when you look at the fucking cave writings and the wall art and everything, it's the same, dude. If you see the structure of
the figures they would make and carve and all that, remember?
The carvings, the procedures in engineering they would do to lock their structures, it's all the same, dude. And that is what's scary, is that there's something there that makes sense. It's not a coincidence. I don't believe in coincidence. It has to be something connected. It's fucking alien. Yeah. Shit, dude.
Element 115.
Element 115. Dude, I'm looking forward to Element 115. And not in like a...
I'm going to raid your house.
I know, right? They're going to come tomorrow and be like, what the fuck? What do you know about this element? You sound pretty smart about all this. You seem pretty knowledgeable about what our intentions are. Fucking, you're not going to hear me for the next year.
Right.
We'll come back all crazy like, hey, man.
Aliens.
No one's going to believe you because you're on fucking LSD and shit. Anyway, I think that's a good wrap on episode, I think 6. Episode 6. We did 3. My buddy, good friend of mine, Marcos, thank you for joining me on this episode. It's been a privilege, an honor to have you on this podcast, and I really do appreciate your support, Marcos. It goes a long way to just come. I know in this time, and in this day and age, especially during all the pandemic, all the riots, everything that we're going through, especially in this year, it's kind of not that easy or that compelling to go to someone's house and do something with them. But I do appreciate the time you took, dude, to come out here, talk to me a little bit. No,
any friends?
I don't have a lot of friends. Just to talk, be a part of this. It's something fun. I hope you had fun doing this, dude.
Yeah,
I had.
Yeah, I definitely did.
Awesome.
I a little nervous, but it's
yeah.
fun.
No, in the first episode, right? It's the first. The first is always the hardest. Right now, I think we had pretty good momentum. Yes, but thank you guys again for watching. If you haven't already, please like and subscribe. Facebook, Instagram, follow us. on Spotify. If you're listening on Spotify and if you already liked those media outlets, thank you guys for supporting. Any, opinions or suggestions as far as what we talked about or the episode in general, please send them our way through DM or messages, or comment on the posts or wherever you're seeing it, right? Thank you guys again, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Thank you again, Marcos.